The Women's Rugby World Cup is the premier international competition in rugby union for women. The tournament is organised by the sport's governing body, World Rugby. The championships are currently held every 4 years. The event was most recently held in France in August 2014. World Rugby has chosen to reset the tournament on a new 4-year cycle to avoid conflict with the Olympics and Women's World Cup Sevens. The next World Cup will thus be held in 2017 and then every 4 years thereafter. The first Women's Rugby World Cup was held in 1991, and won by the United States, though it and the subsequent 1994 competition were not officially sanctioned by World Rugby, then known as the International Rugby Football Board. At the time, they later received retrospective endorsement in 2009 when the governing body, renamed the International Rugby Board in 1997, included the 1991 and 1994 champions in its list of previous winners. It was not until the 1998 tournament held in the Netherlands that the tournament received official IRB backing. The most successful team, with 4 titles, is New Zealand. History: prior to the first Women's Rugby World Cup officially sanctioned by the International Rugby Board, there had been 3 previous tournaments of a similar nature. The first of these was an event held in August 1990 in New Zealand. Though not considered a World Cup, the tournament was referred to as the World Rugby Festival for Women. The competition included teams representing the United States, the Netherlands, Russia, and the hosts, New Zealand Euro, who emerged as winners after defeating the United States in the final. The first tournament, referred to as the Women's Rugby World Cup, was held in 1991 and hosted by Wales. 12 countries were divided into 4 groups of 3. The United States, against expectations, took the first championship with a 19-6 victory over England. In the plate competition, Canada prevailed over Spain 18-4. Following the first tournament, it was decided to move the tournament schedule to the year prior to the next Men's World Cup, therefore reducing the quadrennial cycle to just 3 years. Your next event was originally scheduled to take place in Amsterdam but ended up being moved to Scotland. 11 countries competed in the tournament, with the English meeting the United States in the final for the second time. However, in this instance England emerged as winners. The 1998 tournament became the first Women's World Cup officially sanctioned by the International Rugby Board. Amsterdam, who were originally scheduled to host the previous World Cup, hosted the largest ever tournament, with all matches played at the new National Rugby Centre in the Citea Euro unregistered trademark S West End. The tournament also saw a record 16 teams compete. New Zealand, who withdrew from the previous tournament, also competed. The final saw New Zealand defeat the United States and claim their first World Cup title. The next event was taken to Spain in 2002, where New Zealand won the title for the second time. The 2006 World Cup took place in Edmonton, Canada, and was the first major international rugby union tournament and Women's World Cup held in North America. New Zealand defeated England in the final to win their 3rd successive World Cup title. In 2008, a record 4 countries expressed interest in hosting the 2010 World Cup. After considering bids from the Rugby Football Union, the German Rugby Federation, the Kazakhstan Rugby Union and South African Rugby Union, the IRB announced that the 2010 event would take place in England. The Rugby Football Union for Women then announced that the tournament was to be staged in West London, with a final to be played at the Twickenham Stoop. It was announced in May 2015 that the 2017 tournament will be held in Ireland, with games to be played in both Dublin and Belfast. Results: tournaments performance of nations Format: the format for the 2006 tournament split the 12 participating nations into 4 pools of 3 teams. Each nation played 3 games, after the completion of which a reseeding process took place. Nations were moved into divisions dictated by their respective overall tournament ranking, with the top teams proceeding to the knockout stages. The 2010 event maintained the number of teams participating at 12, with regional qualifying tournaments. In previous tournaments, teams were selected by the IRB based on international performances as opposed to qualification via regional tournaments. Media coverage. The tournament has grown considerably in the past 15 years, although television audiences and event attendance still remain relatively low, especially in comparison to other Women's World Cup events. The final of the 2006 event in Canada was broadcast in a number of countries and streamed live via the Internet. On July 29, 2010, Sky Sports confirmed that they would be broadcasting 13 live matches from the 2010 event, including the semi-finals, the third and fourth place playoff match and the final. The pool matches shown would include all of England's matches, while each of the home nations would feature Live 2. There would also be highlights shown from all other matches during the pool stages. In Ireland, the Women's Rugby World Cup was broadcast by TG4 in 2014. The Irish-language channel received praise for airing the tournament. TG4 provided coverage to all of the Irish matches as well as the final and semi-final. See also, Women's Rugby Union, Women's International Rugby, Women's Rugby League World Cup. References: France to host 2014 Women's Rugby World Cup. WRWC. Pages 1. Retrieved June 30, 2011. Women Unregistered Trademark S Rugby World Cup 2017 Tender Process opens. World Rugby. November 28, 2014. Retrieved December 19, 2014. IRB Press Release, Women's Rugby World Cup. RugbyFootballHistory.com. Pages 1. Retrieved December 14, 2008. Women's Rugby World Cup A Euro History. BBC Sport. May 13, 2002. Pages 1. Retrieved December 14, 2008. 1994 Women's Rugby World Cup A Euro Results. Uniweb. Pages 1. Retrieved December 14, 2008. Rugby Femenino. ISBNS. Pages 1. Retrieved December 14, 2008. New Zealand retain crown. International Rugby Board. Pages 1. Retrieved December 14, 2008. Woods, Penny. Women's Rugby looking to sidestep the doubters. The Guardian. Pages 1. Retrieved December 14, 2008. History of the Women's Rugby World Cup. Pages 1. Retrieved December 14, 2008. Ryan, Padraig. Ireland to host 2017 Women's World Cup. RTA Pamel Sport. Retrieved May 13, 2015. 2017 Women's Rugby World Cup to be held in Ireland. A third-place match was played. A Euro won by France, probably by 3-0. However, the game can only be considered as unofficial as it was not part of the original tournament plan, and the result was not recorded in any official tournament reports. The game is also not included in NZRFU international records. England to host Women's Rugby World Cup. rugbyhaven.co.nz. Pages 1. Retrieved December 15, 2008. WRWC Live on Sky. Sky Sports. August 20, 2010. http www.tg4i Corporate 2014/170714 HTML. External links. The official WRWC website, Women's Rugby World Cup from therugbyworldcup.co.uk, results for the previous tournaments at rugbyfootballhistory.com.